Hello everyone, this is Candice van Wyk from Property Pick, and today we're going to be talking about the Airbnb strategy. So is the Airbnb strategy still a good strategy to consider as a property investor? I definitely think that it is still a good strategy to consider. We might not be able to leverage Airbnb as we did in the past, where you could maybe have a personal residence and you were able to rent out maybe a room in your house and use that as an Airbnb property or unit, or maybe even a cottage on your personal residence where you were able to convert that into an Airbnb type of strategy. So we are kind of restricted and limited from that perspective, just in terms of the alert level 3 that we are currently finding ourselves on here in South Africa. So of course, that brings with it some restrictions. So I think as part of my property tip for today, it's so important, do your research as well. So if you are considering properties and you want to leverage the Airbnb strategy, I would say, what is the alternative strategy that you can consider at this time? So are you maybe able to convert that Airbnb property maybe into a short-term or a medium-term or long-term type of rental? And then I would say, if you're not able to fully leverage it as an Airbnb strategy at this time because of some of the restrictions that have been applied, and I mean, for those of you who don't know what the restrictions are, you're welcome to go onto the www.gov.za website, and you would be able to find some resources, under the regulation section, and you'd be able to actually see what is allowed and what is not allowed under the various lockdown levels. And of course, we know that we are still on an alert level 3, as we were notified by our president earlier this week. So there are still some restrictions that apply as part of that. But yeah, if you do have a property today as an Airbnb strategy, as property investors, we always say it's so important to have at least 2 exit strategies when you go into any strategy. So of course, if you are a trained investor and you went into Airbnb strategy, you should have had at least 2 exit strategies. So if your Airbnb strategy doesn't work, what is the alternative? We had a property like that where we wanted to fully leverage it for Airbnb. And of course, the coronavirus impact hit our global economies, and we had to then move into a different strategy. So at the moment, we have it as a medium-term rental strategies as accommodation. So we're renting the property out because we're not in a position, or we're not allowed to fully use it as a Airbnb strategy at this time. But yeah, there are still opportunities. Understand what the opportunities are. I mean, go onto the Airbnb website. They also share some good information with you in terms of, what is allowed, what is not allowed. And if you have Airbnb properties at this time, how you can actually convert them into strategies or into properties that would be able to meet the needs that we have at this time, like quarantine needs. People are still needing accommodation for work purposes and that type of thing. So yeah, opportunities are there, but I think it's important to ensure that you do your research, do your homework, understand what is allowed as part of the restrictions that we are currently facing, because our property industry has definitely been affected by this COVID-19 impact. So we are not in a position to do some of the strategies in the same way that we did it before COVID. So very important, understand what's happening, see what government is sharing with us. From time to time, they share amendments. And of course, you need to understand how those amendments will affect your current strategy before you actually consider, buying a property for a specific strategy or converting a current property that you have into a strategy that you're considering. Ensure that you do your homework, do your research, and then make a decision from that point onwards. Okay, so that's my tip for today, everyone. Happy investing and God bless you.